Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Horizontal, and this is episode 203 of the world famous University Love podcast, also known as Online Marketing Moves. This is the February 14th, the Valentine's Day edition of the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, 203 episodes. This time is just flying by. But anyway, how's your Sunday going? Hope it's going well. Hope it's going all right. Oh, yeah, we are coming to you live today. Today's February 14th, 2021, as you all know at the time of this recording. But you probably will hear this in the year 2021, probably October sometimes. If you if you are just hearing this in October, hello, how are you? I was telling my wife, the interview, because she was talking about downloads. I said, the downloads normally come, a few days later, a week later, 2 weeks later. I said, they'll pile up. I said, don't worry about it. It's never like first day a thousand downloads. I don't expect those kind of results the first day. Right now, when you're in the up and coming world, that's just how it goes. People catch up to you. They don't exactly, they're exactly not looking for you, but they will catch up, especially if you're putting out good quality content. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about social proof. And then we are going to talk about just you taking action, the old Sunday, how on the program on Sundays we normally have a little bit of motivation. So, but first I will discuss social proof. I was in the store yesterday. I was at the grocery store and a lady was buying wine, and she was buying the wine, and she said, Oprah recommends this wine. She said, that's why I'm buying it, because Oprah recommended it. Oprah has a list. And she was telling the lady at the checkout counter, checking her out. And she said, yeah, Oprah has a list. And, I if Oprah says it, it's got to be good, right? And I'm like, what? I said, now I've listened. Apparently we have all listened to the great Oprah Winfrey, because I know I bought one of her books one time. I used to listen to her podcast on a regular basis, Super Soul Sunday podcast, which is a very good podcast. She talks about a lot of different things, had a lot of different people on there. So, I just thought to myself, I said, that's, I was thinking to myself, people, if you and I could get the kind of credibility build up that Oprah has, we will be gazillionaires already. Already, you know what I mean? Are you kidding me? Can you believe this? This is the social proof that people like you and I. This is the social proof that we, could get. If you can give me 5% of that social proof, man, I'd be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like you would. I mean, you would make the bank. You would say, "Hey, come buy my product for $9.99." People would be like, "Guy puts out good stuff. I believe in him." He knows Oprah. That's the whole. That's the. That is, and that is something that a lot of people try to. This is why people want to get into the world of the likes of and Oprah Winfrey. Like, if you get on Oprah Winfrey's talk, like, if back in the day, if you'd have got on her talk, like Dr. Phil, we'll use Dr. Phil for an example. Dr. Phil was just a psychologist, I believe, and Oprah did a show down in Texas, and Dr. Phil got on her show a few times, and people liked Dr. Phil, and he became popular, and then she was like, we're gonna give you your own show, and bada bing, bada boom, Dr. Phil's, he's had a show for like 20 years now, something like that, the Dr. Phil, the Dr. Oz of the world, if you could just get on the radar of a celebrity, that social proof is you couldn't give them enough money, like Dr. Phil couldn't the things that Oprah has done for Dr. Phil, he can't repay her back. You know what I mean? Like, he gave her, like, the credibility is there. You know, even if you might not think that, you might think Dr. Phil's a quack. It doesn't matter what you and I think, but people are going to be like, I'm going to give him a chance because he knows Oprah. Oprah gives him the stamp of approval, and that is social proof in a nutshell. It's like I was watching a video one time of Russell Brunson, and he was talking, the guy who's one of the owners of ClickFunnels, and he was talking about how he tried to get on Tony Robbins' radar because he knows if he gets into Tony Robbins' world, then the social proof from that alone will, set him up that he doesn't have to, like if ClickFunnels went into the toilet now, the guy will still be able to generate something else and make money because he has social proof from, Tony Robbins or, the other one, Dean Grazioso. So, it's just things of that nature. I'll give you one on the smaller scale. I listened to a wrestling podcast with a guy named Jim Cornette. Okay. And he's a known, well, if you know wrestling, then you know Jim Cornette. So he was a popular manager in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and he does a podcast with the guy, and the guy has a whole network of podcasts. Now, before the guy got on to, Jim Cornette's radar, I would have never, I've listened to a few of his different podcasts without Jim Cornette, and they are good, but without him knowing, without him getting the social proof from Jim Cornette, I would have never heard of him, and I'm sure quite a few other people would have never heard of him. But this is the celebrity social proof, you know what I mean? So if you, I guess what I'm saying is, if you ever get a chance to rub elbows with a celebrity, then by all means, please do. Because you can't buy the kind of social proof that, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but it is what it is, man. People believe people that's been on TV. It's crazy, Your family could give you the best advice in the world. Your family could come along and give you some great financial advice. But if Susan Orman popped up and gave the same person the same advice, they'd be like, "Oh, I believe Susan Orman. I know she knows what she's talking about." And it's just strange, man. Sometimes people will believe a stranger than their own family, which is, I get it because it depends on who's the messenger. It just all depends. Like, I talk to my brother. My brother, he don't listen to nothing. He don't listen to nothing I say. But if Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold or somebody says something to him, he'd be like, "You know what, man? I believe what Stone Cold said." So, celebrity social proof, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite a powerful thing. It's like, people pay Kim Kardashian, like, millions of dollars just to tweet something. Like, "Hey, use this skin cream," whatever. They pay him $1 million. You and her could have, if you might have, you had to work your way up to that point. She just been on a reality show for a few years, and just sort of hangs out and boom, boom, boom. Has more cachet than you, but don't worry about it. You'll get your own cachet eventually. And I guess this is why, I don't know if you're going to be a celebrity on that big of a scale as Oprah or Kim Kardashian, but you definitely want to that's why you want to put yourself out there more and more, because, the more, unfortunately, you can have the greatest content in the world, but if people are going to say, "How many followers you got?" And if you're like, "I got 50, they're like, "Nah, I don't care. Come back when you have 50,000, Once you get up to that 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 200,000 range when it comes to followers and all that stuff, then people are like, "Oh, I want to talk to you. Let me interview you. Let me see what you got going on, blah, 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 blah." Then you can sort of deem yourself a celebrity, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's strange, but sometimes if you want to skyrocket yourself, if you want to get on somebody's radar, celebrity social proof is probably one of the fastest ways to market yourself, because once you get, this is why, I guess this is why people like to hang out with celebrities, the hangers on of the world, it's me personally, I was blown away today yesterday when she said that. She was like, the wine, and it was like, it wasn't like one bottle, it was like 5 bottles. I was like, she bought 5 different bottles. I was like, oh, really? It's like, yeah, I know Oprah got that book club. I bought a couple books, but I don't think I want. I stop with the book. I stop with the books, me personally, but whatever. Anyway, I I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. I really am. When it comes to celebrities, and it comes to people following celebrities, like I just I understand it, but I don't understand it at the same time. It's fascinating. It's fascinating how now it's different. It's you know not like it was in the '80s when I was growing up in the '90s when you would see a celebrity every now and then. They had a movie coming out. Now people follow reality stars, and because they share their whole life. And then when you get into that world, you have to keep it going. So it's kind of it's like my wife. She enjoys 90 Day Fiance. Okay, so these people get on the show 90 Day Fiance, and so they are instantly, they go from having maybe one follower to, we'll say 75,000 followers. Okay, so now you have 75,000 followers. So now you have some sort of fame. And so now it's like you're in between, because you're not a Tom Cruise, you're not an Oprah, you're not a Kim Kardashian, who is with like the queen of reality shows. You are a person on a reality show, which is a good reality show, but now you have 75,000 followers, and now it's like, what do you do with these 75,000 followers? So you have to try to figure it out, because it would be sort of hard for anybody. I I keep and I bring this up to my wife, and she's like, and she does make a good point. She's like, well, it's kind of hard to go back to a regular job when you get this sort of fame. And I'm like, this is very true. It's like, what do you do with it? How do you turn this into a profit? So you have to sort of just jump on the train. You have to jump on the train and figure it out as you go along. This weaves into the next subject we're going to talk about. It's just about, you have to get into action mode, and you have to figure things out on the fly. It's not always about perfecting time and perfection. Sometimes sometimes lightning strikes, the match is struck, and you just have to go with it. You just have to figure it out on the fly. It's not about there's no such thing as perfect time. There's no such thing as, when I get all my ducks in a row. I used to have this mentality of, waiting on the perfect time, but there is no perfect time. There is no, when I do all this, when I do all that, because if you if you sit around and wait for the perfect time, you'll the ship, the train, the bus, whatever metaphor you want to use, it will definitely pass you by. So, because I remember at first I would use myself as an example. In the beginning, when I wanted to do this podcast, I said, I'm going to wait till I go home to do the podcast, because what would I record from? Okay. And I thought to myself, I have to wait. And I said, if I just keep waiting, I ain't gonna never get home. I said, so we just gonna have to get it going, and start on the fly. So started recording in the back of the truck, and from the back of the truck, we did that for a few months. Finally got a chance to come home, start driving local, and now we're no longer doing podcasts from the phone. We're doing podcasts with the microphone and the computer. And it's not perfect. It's not the perfect situation, not the perfect setup. Because if I told you the setup, you'd be like, oh, that's crazy. But it's not the perfect setup. But here we are. We are still doing it. And it sounds better, and it's getting better. So it's not about perfection. It's just about taking action. So whenever you have something that you know, if it's not that it's an opportunity, when opportunity strikes, you just have to take advantage of it. You just have to go for it. You know what I mean? And you just have to figure things out along the way. You have a plan, you write the plan down, but they have erasers, they have whiteout. You can you can always adapt. You can always, change. You can always keep it moving until you get it the way you want to get it, the exact way. It's just like when people like, I got to build a home office first before I can start doing videos and all that stuff. No, just shoot the video. Just shoot a video. Find a place in your house, shoot a video, find a place. If you have to shoot them in your car, shoot them in your car. If you have to shoot them in your backyard, shoot them in the backyard. If you live in an apartment, shoot it in your apartment. Make some find the space, find the room to do it, and just start doing it. And then after a while, then you be like, oh, I want a green screen. Because after a while, you'll be like, all right, I want this, I want that, I want lighting, I want all this, I want all that. Like I was making a video yesterday, and in my house, in my basement, I have yellow walls. And I'm like, I need to get a different. I was like, you know what? Forget about it. People are just gonna see these yellow walls for a while. And then when we get the revenue up, we will get more equipment, more equipment, different equipment. It will be more, upstream. But until then, we're just gonna shoot the videos with the yellow wall. We're gonna find a place. I was thinking about that this morning. Where to shoot videos. We have the Screencastify, so we don't have to shoot every video is not going to be shot with the Canon M50. Look at me name dropping with the Canon M50, but the ones that are, we will shoot them with the yellow wall in the background, and we will worry about as long as in most videos that you shoot, as long as your sound is good, you're good to go, because a lot of people, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people watch YouTube, they put it in the pocket and they forget about it. They just listen to you anyway. Most important thing about videos and anything is just make sure your audio is good. Make sure you can be heard. Make sure that you don't sound, terrible. I mean, you've heard some of these podcasts that I've recorded. A couple of them sound like I was in the tunnel, but we worked it all out. So there's no perfect time. There's no perfect scenario. Take action. Lightning strikes, lightning hits, opportunity, and an opportunity comes in front of you. It's like that thing. I probably talked about it before, but it's a story about Will Smith. All of you know Will Smith. Come on now. All you know the Fresh Prince. And he was telling a story about how he was at a party and Quincy Jones said, hey, they got this show. They got this show called The Fresh Prince, and you'll be great for it. And he said, I need 3 weeks to audition. And he said, you could take 3 weeks, or you could take the next 10 minutes and change your life forever. What you want to do? So he said, all right, give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, he came. He acted it out. The guy said, you're great. And then he said, all right, lawyers, y'all get together. Boom, boom, boom. They hashed out a deal. And that night, Will Smith, who was struggling in the world of entertainment at that point in his life, he took those 10 minutes and he changed his life forever. And he is the Will Smith that you know now. So timing is, don't worry about time. Time is just, people focus on too much perfect timing. There's no such perfect timing. There's no, you'll figure it out. And the more action you take, the more you will figure it out. That's one thing that I had to learn personally. I used to always wait, like the timing. Either I will try to wait till the perfect time. I'm like, this ain't right. I need to reset and do it all over. Blow it up. Don't need to blow everything up. You don't have to blow everything up. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You just readjust, regroup, and take out and get it going. Keep it going. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. So just remember, if you can get if you can get on the radar of a celebrity, then hey, God bless you. Go for it. You can take advantage of that. You definitely go for it. And then if you are able to, because there are different ways to do that. I'm not saying that you just start stalking people and all that kind of stuff. Like I watched a video with Russell Brunson, and he talked about how he didn't like for I guess 5 years, something like that. You know he just kind of kept at it. He would go to a seminar, he would do like commenting on the guy's stuff. You know, I mean, he really wanted he said he really wanted the friendship with the guy. Now he does like they had some kind of class they was doing together. So that's money he's gonna make, which is great. And you have the whole, you know, like I said, if your business, it's just like Dr. Phil. If the Dr. Phil TV empire ever went underwater, he still has a name. He has cachet. So you are never quite out of the race once you get a name or once you get some cachet. Kim Kardashian, if her show ever, I don't even know if the show's still on, but she has cachet. And once you are a celebrity for a long time, you just have the cachet. So this is what you want. Eventually, I've been doing this. This is, I mean, because hey, you're truly, I've been doing this for 6, 7 months. This podcast, I've been at this whole online marketing thing for 2 years. And 8 years from now, 10 years from now, 12, 15 years from now, I'm going to still be at this, and I will have 15 years worth of credibility built up. So if something ever goes belly up, I will go, you know what? I got a name in the internet marketing, world, and I can always, by then I will know what to do to get back to where I want to be. All right. So I want that for you as well. So just remember, don't wait, don't hesitate. Like we all talk about this all the time on the podcast. Come up with a plan. Have some things written down. Everything's not gonna work at first. Take it one step at a time, one thing at a time, and hey, make it happen for yourself. All right. With that being said, that's it. That's it for the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with another hard hitting episode. And by the way, I am making a funnel for an affiliate program I am part of, and I will be able to post that funnel, and you can see a video. You can see yours truly because I am in this. I am in this actual funnel. So I will give you the link tomorrow or probably Tuesday because I'm just about done with it. I recorded a couple of videos, so I'll let you see it just so you can see a funnel. You can check it out. But that's it for the podcast. That's it for the day. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, everybody, on Sundays, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This podcast is growing, and I want you to grow with it. You can always email the show, Tony@onlinemarketingmoves.com. That's Tony@onlinemarketingmoves.com. Email us. Follow us on, what am I on? Twitter, Instagram. All you do is type in, TRESONNO on Twitter, on Instagram. We have a Facebook page, Online Marketing Moves. If you want to check that out. I haven't posted any pictures of anything like that. I got to get that going. But and also, oh yeah, before we go, this is Sunday plug time. Go to the YouTube channel, Tony Rizzano, subscribe. We have a very small subscriber base, so we need more. So you can help us out. We greatly appreciate it. But until Monday, I will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace. Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is episode 197 of the world famous University Love podcast, also known as Online Marketing Moves. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. Did you watch the Super Bowl yesterday? Was you sad? Me, I watched about 5 minutes of it, And I knew in the 5 minutes I watched that game, I knew it was over with for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a sad day. It's going to be another 50 years before the Chiefs win again. The only team, if you're from Missouri, the only team you can depend on is the St. Louis Cardinals. Other than that, I wouldn't count. I wouldn't put I wouldn't put too much stock into the Kansas City team. I wouldn't I wouldn't put too much stock in any Kansas City team, baseball or football. And of course, the St. Louis Rams, they flew the coop out of Missouri. And the St. Louis Blues, I love the Blues, but they just won like 2 years ago. They won the first Stanley Cup 2 years ago. So we are still celebrating that. And I will celebrate that for the rest of my natural born days. So I don't care if the Blues ever win again or not. At least I got to watch them win one Stanley Cup. But the Cardinals, if you ever been to Missouri, you ever live in Missouri, the Cardinals, that's our staple. But anyway, enough about that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about negativity. How to use negativity in your business. How to use negativity in your emails. How to use it in some of your sales, letters and things of that nature. Now, why do I bring this up? Because yesterday, I wrote 3 emails yesterday. Two were fairly, it wasn't nothing negative about them. And the third one was just a throwaway. Was a throwaway email. But that email got the most feedback. And that was a very negative email. And it didn't say much. The title, it said unsubscribe or else. So the first, I guess, was an attention grabbing headline, unsubscribe or else. And then I put on there, I just wrote, I said, if you do not open this email, you will be deleted from this email list. And we got about 20 to 25%, 30% of people open up the email. It's pretty good for Super Bowl for a Super Bowl Sunday. All just because the headline was negative, the message in the email was negative. People love to tell you that they enjoy positivity, but nobody watches the news for positive vibes. Okay, people watch the people that do the news. They know the media. They know what grabs people's attention. Negative stories, killings, muggings, robbings, all that stuff. Nobody wants the front. If the news was an hour of, man saved cat from a tree, woman fell from a ladder and the fireman scooped in and picked up, saved it. If the news was an hour of that, nobody would watch the news. Okay, nobody. A lot of people claim they like positivity. They claim they like to hear good news, but no. It's just like if you ask somebody, good news or bad news, people always say, tell me the bad news first. Okay. So how can you take advantage of this? Sometimes it's a thing that I learned from a guy named Ben Settle. I subscribe to his I pay for his monthly newsletter. It's very good. And he talked about this last year and he talked about this year. It's called the negative stripe line. I won't go into it in too much detail because of course, the man probably doesn't want to give away all his secrets, especially for the free, But basically, well, you can always look it up yourself. Basically, it's some because people have negative thoughts. If you tell somebody, if I come to you and say, "Hey, we can start an online business," a lot of people are gonna say, "I can't start an online business." But if you come to them, and you say, "Ah, man, it's tough. This online business stuff. You wouldn't be able to make it. You wouldn't be able to handle it." I already know it's not for somebody like you. If you just start with a real negative kind of thing like that, somebody would go, "What do you mean I can't start it?" This, that, and the other. Now, you definitely should not use the negative stripe line that often, but every now and then it helps. One thing about marketing, one thing about selling, sometimes you want to tap into somebody's sometimes you want to tap into their emotions, you want to tap into their fear, it's not manipulation, but it's it's all part of the selling process. If people think, of course, because if they was comfortable, if somebody was comfortable in the way they were living, I have 500 people, 600 people on one email list I got. All right. If those people were comfortable with the lives, they definitely wouldn't be on the email list. You know what I mean? Because the email list is about making money online. The my email list is about different ways you can generate money online, different ways you can start a business online. That's my email list. So of course they all naturally, I had a few people write me or whatever, and they say, "Can you get me off this email list? Unsubscribe me. I'm good. I don't need this." And it's like, you first off, you can unsubscribe yourself, and second of all, you signed up for the email list. It's not like I went out and looked for you. You signed up for the email list. But why or do they want to get off? Because people have a lot of people have negative images of themselves. So if you're doing marketing, if you're doing a sales letter every now and then, you can pull out the negative strike line and you can tap into those fears, you can tap into those emotions, and you can go you can go more negative than them. And that might be like, wow, well, okay. If you say, you know, if you do something like, oh, this thing is expensive, this thing is $2,500. These are the reasons why you shouldn't buy it. And then if you have thought of all the reasons that they shouldn't buy it, and they're like, well, I was gonna say all that, but I think I can do it or whatever. If you go deep negative, deeper than they can go, then more than it's a good chance that they'll buy from you. Okay. It's just a psychological thing. But people, you know, every now and then I whip out a negative email. And a lot of times it gets a bigger response than my normal email. Now I don't like to be I come from a negative I grew up in a negative environment. So the age I am now, I just want peace, love, and rock and roll. So I don't really like to go negative too often. Plus, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overuse it. There's different ways you can get different ways, different emails you can write. So if you spent every day, 365 days out the year writing negative emails, nobody's gonna respond after a while. It's like a coach. every now and then, every now and then, a coach has to come in, and yeah. Every now and then, a coach has to come in, and even though the team might have won by 20 points, he'll come and he'll say, "What the f did you? What the f was that? That you sucked that game." Blah 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 blah. Because the coach has to go a little negative. Because if you keep winning games, people are gonna get fat and they're gonna get happy. I'm like, "Oh, we just winning games and we could take it easy." So every now and then, a good coach will come in and shake it up. Every now and then, you in the email marketing, you have to shake it up. Sometimes you have to use a headline that will catch people's attention. Sometimes you have to write an email that will catch people's attention. As I told you once, I have written, I wrote an email once as I was imitating shut up, you. Once I was imitating a sermon, you know what I mean? Like a preacher. So I wrote this long email about preaching and how you need to come to the house of affiliate marketing and things of that nature. I'm going to have to pull that email out one day, but that was a pretty good email. I got one complaint, but that's the thing about email marketing. That's the thing about marketing, period. You want to move the needle. You don't want people sitting on the fence. So that's why every now and then you have to pull out the negativity and use it and see where they go. They're either going to accept it or they're going to reject it. One of the two. That's the main goal when it's about selling. It's about marketing. They're either going to buy from you or they ain't going to buy from you. Simple as that. It's not let me hang out and let me sit on you. Some people are going to buy from you more often than others. Some people are going to buy from you every now and then, but what you don't want is somebody sitting on your email list for 6 years and then they buy the cheapest product in like year 7. It's like, it's kind of a pain. And then those are the people that most of the time that complain the most. So you definitely, as you get further and further into the business, you want to you want to make sure you are figure out who your customers are. Make sure you know try to get good quality customers. You don't want the tag, you don't want the freebie, you don't want the freebie junkies, you don't want the tire kickers, you don't want those kind of people hanging around you all the time, because you can have a list of, say if you had a list of 50,000 tire kickers, you wouldn't make a dime. You have a nice size email list, but you wouldn't make any money, because they would always want free stuff, and don't always try to give away everything free. Don't give everything away for free. Charge somebody something. You know, but getting back to the negative strike line, yeah, every now and then, every so often, pull it out. Every now and then, if you want to write into your, sales letters about negativity, going negative, even in the Bible, I read a verse. I can't really quote it, but I read it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Jesus, he was being negative, and he said, "If you don't believe me, then, come with me, or come, something like that." And I was like, "Wow, look at Jesus. He's using a negative stripe line." Okay, so if it's in the Bible, then it, a lot of different things in the Bible you can use in marketing, because it's interesting book. I read the Bible every day. I don't read it for that purpose, for marketing purposes, but it's interesting stuff in there. And religion does move the needle. If you ever want to talk about religion in the email, you definitely will move the needle. All right. But anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to let you know about the negative strike line. Every now and then you have to pull out the negativity. Every now and then you have to shake things up. So that's what I want you to do in your sales letters. That's what I want you to do in your emails. That's what I want you to do in your Facebook posts. Don't always do the same milk toast, motivation, rah, 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 six boom, bye. Don't always do the same thing that everybody else is doing. Shake things up, be different, be unique, be yourself, keep striving, keep going, and things will happen for you. All right. With that being said, my name is Horizano. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. And remember, if you're gonna do the negative strike line, go go all the way negative. Look it up, check it out. I've seen a couple things on Google. If you're gonna go negative, go deep negative. Go so negative that the people they won't know what to do with themselves. Put the opportunity in their face, tell them why they shouldn't buy it, and then after that, you know, they don't have any reservations, and more than likely they'll buy from you. All right, and you just keep that in mind. There's all kind of different techniques, and you and I need to explore them. But with that being said, we will be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Zano. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, everybody, peace.